What is the script? What is the story? Well, I guess it's a story about home and about loss and about the loss of home. I found a home with my husband and my cat called Trotsky, named after the Russian revolutionary because I am Russian. But after around 2021, all that came crashing down and I found myself flailing without a base, without the comfort of the place I had been able to call home, and not really knowing how to live and trying to understand that. Where does the mind go then when it's completely at loss and everything has been thrown apart? That's the search. It's the search for self.
Hackney Road, Columbia Road.
Yeah.
How have you been? How are you now?
I don't know if it's because I'm tall or if it's just something about my face, but I feel like people are always trying to bring me down a peg or two, as they would say in their words of the English language. But I don't know what the problem with that is, why people feel the need to do that, because I think, first of all, I don't know what kind of life they assume I'm living that they feel that I would benefit from having some pegs reduced or removed, but they must be tripping because I have had, my pegs have been reduced so far that to the point I didn't even have any pegs left, and my sense of self was completely dismantled and lost, genuinely. And my actual lifestyle was so pegless that it was hard to maintain any sense of identity. I'm just picking some mushrooms right now. So like a massive pan of mushrooms. Yeah, feeling a bit better actually. Feeling quite good. I felt quite good the past few days. Could be the weather. Also, I've been trying to do certain kind of routine. And I've actually had, I had a lot of time to myself, but my personal phone stopped working. It started glitching out. So I turned it off for a while. And then I didn't turn it back on. And I was like, I'm just going to leave it. And I think that might have contributed to it as well.
No detail.
What does it say here? It says the floating of consciousness, sometimes provoked by medications, which may lead to a surge of vivid memories. And he drew a parallel with similar phenomena which develop during sleep and dreams. That's quite nice. Which may lead to an intense feeling of happiness and beatitude. Straight into that house. Straight into that house. Or the opposite, depending what that memory is, I believe. This phenomenon leads to a synthesis of past and present persons in the subject with a feeling of untemporality. Secondly, the resurgence of vivid past memories first produces an impression which may subsequently lead to desire and decision to be followed by action. I think actually the modern world of phones and stuff, I actually don't think it makes me feel good. I think the light feeling is what I always want to feel, but the heavy feeling is the feeling that I dread and I hate. And and I haven't felt it for a little while, but I definitely know what it is. But it's like, but I think in moments that I find really bad, I think I feel that as well. And in moments where things start to unravel, I feel it too. And I think just like a hopelessness, or like a kind of like a prisonness.
Trapped?
Yeah.
Trapped and hopeless in being trapped.
I don't know, sort of together. Yeah, I think trapped, but also feeling like this kind of like, huge sort of like press on top, like, you're never gonna get out of this. This is gonna be you forever. This is it. It's a feeling like I remember the times when I used to enjoy things. I remember the times when I could be one of those people that in the pubs and like hanging out and stuff. And I'm looking at them and thinking like, oh, I remember the time when I could go to those places with friends, with my ex-husband, and sit there, and it would be cool, and I would enjoy it, and there'd be an opportunity to. Basically survival mode, yeah, just like a fox in the city trying to get back to some kind of natural world where I can be peaceful. But yeah. Quite dizzy.
Wait, what was that song?
And this might sound like, oh, it's an innocent thing and people are just really caring for each other, or, it's a family dynamic and family, doesn't need to have boundaries. And this could not be the furthest thing from the truth. This is one of the unhealthiest things that I see in family dynamics that actually causes so much chaos for individuals later in life. And the reason for this is that when we come from enmeshment trauma,
I wonder, like, on a kind of spiritual level, I managed to get away and I went to a different country and I was doing all these things that I felt that I wanted to do, and yet I kind of found the same patterns. Why have I kind of ended up back here so prominently and kind of stuck back in the one place that I really, really didn't want to be? Hey, good morning, everybody. Today is a day.
you know, I'm hearing that you kind of really do nourish yourself being on your own. Something about getting a balance where then you go, okay, right, now's the time I'm going to go in for this relationship, but I'm going to stay really grounded.
I think that's just really hard. I think
Now can't you see I'm no good without you? Just take my arms, I'll never use them. Or take my lips, I want to lose them. And
how does that come up the second I come out the station? What's that from? Is that like headspace?
I am worthy of achieving my goals.
That is icy. Oh, so nice. There's my shoes. And I remember once a friend of mine said, like, you know, you used to have this behaviour, but it was like, oh, you used to have this moment where you would just, it would just look like a cloud just came over your head and you would just carry this cloud around. And when he said that, I was like, wow, that's a really simple, interesting kind of visualisation.
your goodbyes have left me with eyes that cry. Now how can I go on? Come on, just a day. What are you filming?
It just feels like I've gone back to the bottom of my trauma, back to the beginning. I even kind of look like I did when I was 17. Gone back to the beginning and I'm stuck in it. I'm just stuck in it.
They know where they want to go though. Straight off the water.
U-turning lorry.
Go on. Oh, he's
doing the crab dance.
He's got the crab dance. Go on over there. Go in.
The monkeypox plague! A warnings from God! He is coming soon in judgment. You may laugh, you may scoff.
I'm constantly thinking, where am I going to stay next? What am I going to do next in order to relax and stay alive? I think before, the reason for all the panic attacks was like the lack of grounding, because I was like, who the fuck am I? I'm like swept away by this trauma, swept away by this ostracization. I'm completely alone, abandoned. Everything that I knew about my previous life has gone up in flames. My entire previous life experience has told me, all these people have told me that I'm not worthwhile, that I'm bad, that I've done something wrong, that I'm not welcome, that I can't come back. They're like, oh, where are you living these days? Oh, what are you doing these days? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I'm divorced and I'm, well, where do you think I'm living? Because I'm right here, right now. And
Well, I can't look at that for very long.
really?
Go high.
No, I just get suicide thoughts.
Oh god.
Never heard of that?
No.
You know when you stand there.
And then go back to emptiness and grief and past self and trappedness in every direction that I look. A sense of complete lack of safety half the time, or a sense of self, and just the fact that I think your lyrics were like, you took my right to breathe away, and then it went,
my landlord saying, you are,
you strangled me.
Any customers for West Worthing, Dorrington, Goring by Sea.
They're only going to be able to have like a few tables in their facility. So like having some I don't know, like fuck that, like if someone has to pay a staff, like they're really have to, like this guy is next door, it's like surely obviously he knows the law, he's just going to completely disobey it, blanket out.
People might not even want to go back to normality, and then they'll take over and like
yeah, I think you still need that pay, because it's not like the company shell out, they're not working, they're doing and especially if they have topped up their wages from 80% off, they should definitely It doesn't look much like me at all. I think that aspect of it it was bizarre, isn't it?
Let's go to A&E right now. Why did I say let's go to A&E? Because I thought that's where somebody might see me. They might see me and say, oh, you need help. Okay, we're here to help you.
17 is, it's time for you to flesh out a vision for your life. And when you've withdrawn from living from crisis to crisis, you'll have extra energy and maybe even a sense of emptiness.
There's that guy in the back of the room in the hospital shouting death on repeat. And actually it's okay because it's actually, whew, at least he's doing that. At least I'm not doing that. In it goes. Not really embarrassment, actually. It's more just frustration that, and kind of numbness of like, what is this shit? Why the actual fuck am I here? And why can't I feel like I can be anywhere else? Why do I feel like I can't be anywhere else? Like I'm stuck. Why do I feel like that? Because I could just be somewhere else, right? Couldn't I? With a new consciousness, the hand tightened. The cut has burst. That listening genial smile of the eyes. A voice called softly with trepidation. He had denied her. The dark room that never got any sun. Its unspoken speech, superficial, to exist in a desert.
Okay. Это блок. Да, и это бронзовый тоже.
Сделать опять? That nestles down deeper into my corrupted spring. The branches in the groves filled with screaming gulls, which a cruel burst of wind spurs onward, while you listen to the murmuring, still waking, sings at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Pero qué va, que no, ni, ¿qué va? Tan tranquilo.
Veo una dimensión diferente. Cabrón. Tú es aquí. Tú es aquí. También yo es aquí.
Ahora en el mar tenemos un periodo de 11.
was saying with this last session, this patterns of relating that you find yourself in, it's all great to start off with, and then it shifts, and you find yourself trapped.
Yeah.
And you're ready to dare, but the feeling that goes with that, this real heaviness of hopelessness, but something has happened to get out. And more often than not, it sounds like the way it's easy for you to get out is it's hard for you to upset people or feel that you're upsetting people, whether you are or not, even though you might have a right, you've got your right to your choices. And sometimes people do get upset, but that's really hard. So it's almost like it has to come to a crisis so that therefore you've got no choice about upsetting them. Poof.
I remember when I was high on acid, and the first time, and it was freaking me out. It was weird. And I was in the flat in Fuerteventura, but my mind was referencing the interior as flashbacks within my memories, and I was in two certain places at the same time. I was myself, married in the upstairs bathroom. The bathroom in the Fuerteventura house echoed the same kind of purpley red bathroom, and so I was in there, but I was with the wrong person as a partner. I was like, who is this one person? And then at the same time, and I was my mum and my boyfriend was my dad, and I was my mum and he was my dad, and it was like I was getting angry at him in my memories. It's like I was talking to my actual dad, but in the past, and it's like I was reenacting my mum's behaviour. Wow. As if I was inside my mum's body, and I was playing out through my own eyes, through my own behaviour, what I'd been witnessing as a child. It seemed like it looks exactly the same, and it was it, and I was her and he was him, and everything was exactly in this loophole, like Solaris.
I get the sense of you kind of traveling around the globe, trying to find the love that's going to help you get your needs met. I mean, your dad wasn't there at all, and she was narcissistic. So yeah, you probably hoped. I get it. Yeah, you wanted love. You wanted love, and that's always what it is.
Honestly, England, I never want to see you again. I mean, this is a special bit of road right here.
Sometimes we have choices. Sometimes we have both.
I struggle with London energetically, and I can never seem to catch my breath, breathe, sleep, or feel not with muscular pain when I'm in London. I completely get out of breath and I'm like constantly flustered. I think for me it's because there isn't enough distance between things. There's a density that really overwhelms my physical body and my mind, of density of people and space. And that's why I went to Fuerteventura, because there's space, distance, just has horizontal vision for miles and miles and miles. I can stare. It's just air, sand, water, light. That's what's there. Not thoughts, cars, pollution, energy. I don't want to talk about it. I can stretch my arms out. There's nobody else's opinions or thoughts or prejudices or baggage or narratives. One of those ones where it goes, hey guys. Well, it is the morning and you're feeling good. You're feeling better. And the light is strong and the sun is up and that stunning black chestnut. And the parakeets are cawing. And the summer is dawning, even though it's late August. It's only just appeared because it's England, and it's England, and it's England, and it's a bit wet. He's gone. A big one. Also just feeling like I have a right to just be who I am or feel how I feel as well. In front of other people. Rather than having to only really be who I am in private. I think that's why about sort of spending time alone is that's when I'm like, oh, I can look how I want to look. I don't have to look pretty for people. I don't have to look, put together for people. I can just be who I am and just whatever and enjoy the things I enjoy. And I think I actually am one of those people that when I'm around other people, I'm always being what I think, not people pleasing too much, like I'm not that bad, but as in like just to a certain degree, shielding, not really being my full self. It's fucking magic. I'm doing this thing at the moment that when I go outside, particularly in parts of London that are so nice, I basically go around and I'm like, look at something that I think is nice and I go, oh, nice, because there's so much that is not nice. You can easily lose track of what is quite nice, which is really hard to see. So for example, there's not a huge amount right now that is nice, but I spot a couple of things that are nice. The tree over there is quite nice. And then that sort of glow behind that tree, which is behind the what do you call it? security camera is quite nice. And there's like a spot of cloud up there that is quite nice. And then there's someone coming past with like a nice blue colour that's super nice, which matches the blue colour of this quite ugly sign. So like things like that you could say are quite nice. A shoe, that's a good shoe. I like your shoe, that shoe is nice. Ooh, that car looks nice. The sound of that bird, that's nice. I mean, right now where I am is very nice. Like I love nature of any kind because it's devoid of the things that traumatize me, which is people. Nature has never really traumatized me, so that's awesome. And that's why for me it's a safe haven. And that's also why being in London is like the biggest trigger ever to my trauma, because it just means that there's people everywhere all the time. So my nervous system is always going like, people, are they a threat? Are they a threat? And most of the time, you know, no one's actually a threat apart from the people that are a threat, who are still actually always around me, so that's why. But it's just like that switch, isn't it, that doesn't turn off. Anyway, I gotta go. The other day, someone was like, why are you always laughing? Like, why are you always giggling? Is that, because actually sometimes when you're laughing all the time, it's because actually you just need to cry. You know, laughter is really the mirror of tears. So maybe you're laughing so much because you just gotta cry. And I was like, and then I was like, just reading a text that I think is a really good signifier of what's going on is that brain scans have shown that during and after spiritual awakening, the same neural pathways light up as are active in depression, which researchers called two sides of the same coin. However, those who engage in consistent spiritual practices activate and expand the size of their prefrontal cortex.
Qui per distruggere. L'immera distruzione che hai causato non poteva essere.
How do you survive this reality without drugs? Like, you know, okay, you can survive it, but you're like enduring the whole time. It's just a test of endurance all the time. Like, I feel like every day, especially in London, is a test of insane endurance for me. It's like I am literally like tensing my entire body the entire day, going, hold on, get through this, go to sleep, you can wake up, it'll be okay, get through this. Oh, wake up and breathe. And this is when you realize, well, everything's a drug, isn't it? Everything's a drug. Romance. Oh, let me go on the dating apps. Okay, fuck. I mean, apps will give you nothing, and more of the same disconnected reality that the life at the computer's giving you. So that's giving you nothing. But then, okay, so say if it was like sex. I mean, I'm not having any, so that probably doesn't help. I mean, that would be a drug that would give me something. Again, distraction. Then you start thinking about that person or that experience or that sex or whatever it is you're having, you would start thinking about that. And then you're still not thinking about the reality of your actual life, your actual day-to-day time. I do all this work. My body hurts. I take a massage. The massages are worth the same amount I've just earned. It's feeding itself. It's not going anywhere. It's a rat race cycle. It's a loop, stuck in a loop. And then maybe that's what the drugs are. Then they're like that, the loop release. You think when you do the drugs and the drink, you're getting out of the loop, because for a moment the cycle's broken, because you enter a new world, the high world. But then when you get sober again, you go down into the hungover. You go down away from the middle ground, which is the constant, the loop. And when you come back to the loop, you're like, oh, something's changed, it's different, I can do this. When you're sober in the loop, you can see it so clearly.
And then we get this strange feeling that we have never had, you see, in our lives, except occasionally by accident. Some people get a glimpse that we are no longer this poor little stranger and afraid in a world it never made, but that you are this universe, and you are creating it at every moment. The real deep down you is the whole universe. See, if the universe began in the past, when that happened, it was now. See, but it's still now. And the universe is still beginning now, and it's trailing off like the wake of a ship from now. And the wake of the ship fades out, so does the past. That's the birth of responsibility. Because otherwise, you can always look over your shoulder and say, well, I'm the way I am because my mother dropped me. You can't blame anyone else for the kind of world you're in. If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental.
Very beautiful, sort of wholesome Friday night experience in Morden Hall Park. So we've got people like just picking mushrooms, Eastern European women picking mushrooms, and a man from the Middle East also there at the mulberry tree. No. I almost want to do one of those like wartime union moments, you know, when the soldiers put down weapons in World War II, or was it World War One? No, World War II, I think. And the Germans and the British shared tea at Christmas, or whatever they did. I was just thinking that I want to see my ex-husband at Christmas, see his mum and the cat, and spend Christmas with them, and just put down tools, put down weapons, put down hopes and dreams, you know, whatever, and just be present on that day together. Around the fire. Oh God. I'd just be like, yay!
The hairy one.
I suppose I'm thinking, here you are now, right in the kind of the eye of the you're okay. In fact, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Is going to keep that way? What's going to get in the way of you being able to continue to feel good?
I think being free to make choices and knowing that I'm completely free to make those choices is what, yeah, is positive. And obviously recovery and kind of mental health and like sense of security in oneself, that's an endless cycle. You kind of spiral through it until you find some strength, but then I don't know, is there ever that point where you get to that you think, yes, this is my point and I'm now forever at the next stage? I don't know if that happens because it hasn't yet happened to me, but I have a lot of strong self-doubt that comes in waves. I have a lot of strong confusion about where I'm heading and who I am that comes in waves, you know, and I look at my bank account and my sense of security in the world and, you know, am I good enough? Am I good looking enough? Am I stable enough? Is my hair fucking nice enough? My nails aren't strong enough? All this crap, and that's kind of endless. But maybe there will be a point when I'll be like, that's all fine and I'm content. But in this context, I think the beach. And in the end, it becomes a constant challenge, a daily challenge of finding peace within your own soul, finding that safety within yourself, finding that peace within yourself, and finding that sense of home. When you cater that peace within yourself, you have the power to make a difference.